up everyone, Andrew Baena here, and on today's video we are going to be taking a look at the Abasi Concepts Legion ME 8-string. So you already heard how this guitar sounds in a full demo mix. That was a re-recording of my band Carcosa's song titled The Axe Forgets, The Tree Remembers. All of the guitar tracks were completely re-recorded using this guitar. And for the rest of the video, what I'm going to do is tell you the specs and features of this instrument, show you a few soloed tone clips, and of course give my thoughts and opinions on this beautiful 8-string. Before we move on to the specs and features of this guitar, I do have to give Abasi Concepts a massive thank you for providing this guitar to this channel. They didn't pay for this video, so all thoughts and opinions are still my own. However, I do also have to give a massive thank you to the sponsor of this video, DistroKid. If you're not familiar with DistroKid, they are an online service that will help you get your music to Spotify, Apple Music, and every other streaming platform. I've personally been using DistroKid for over 5 years, and pretty much all of my personal solo music, as well as Carcosa's early catalog, was all distributed using DistroKid. They have a ton of really useful features such as splits, so if you're doing collabs with other people, you can split it right within the program itself, so you don't have to do your own calculations. There's easy cover licensing and a bunch of other features. So if you're looking to get your music on Spotify, Apple, and everywhere else, be sure to go check out DistroKid. The link is in the description and the pinned comment below, and you can get 7% off using my link. With that being said, let's get to the specs and features of this guitar. Okay, so taking a look at the ME 8-string, like I mentioned earlier, this is part of their Legion series of guitars. So essentially with Abasi Concepts, there are two different lines of guitars. There's the Master series or the Legion series. So with the Legion series of guitars, essentially what Abasi Concepts is aiming to do is give people an opportunity to own one of these guitars at a lower price point. However, despite the difference in price between the Master series and the Legion series, they still share a lot of the same specs. They share the same pickups, the same body shapes, the same ergonomics. So it's not necessarily that the Legion series is a lesser guitar than the Master series. They simply share the same specs across a broader production line, which results in a lower price point. So for this guitar in particular, we have this beautiful deep sage finish, which I think looks absolutely beautiful. By the way, this guitar is currently in stock over on Abasi Concepts page, so be sure to go check that out, as well as a bunch of other finish options that they just restocked. Anyways, other than the beautiful finish, we have Tosin Abasi's signature Fishman Fluence pickups on top right there. The body itself is made out of basswood. We have individual bridge saddles along the bottom here. We have a volume and a tone knob, as well as a 5-way pickup selector, and the tone knob can be pushed or pulled to access voice 1 or 2 of these pickups. I'm going to flip the guitar over so you can see the back of it as well, and we can see that it is a bolt-on design, and there are just so many bevels and belly carves and stuff all over this guitar. It looks absolutely beautiful when you turn it. Super thin along that side especially, and again, that forearm carve going all the way along the top, and another carve there. Looks really, really nice. So many angles to this guitar. It's hard to get them all because it's the solid color finish, but there you go. That's a good example. Moving on to the neck of this guitar, this is, of course, a multi-scale guitar. So for the 8-string in particular, we're looking at 25.5 inches on the top string to 27.5 inches on the low string. We have 24 extra jumbo stainless steel frets. The fretboard itself is made out of ebony, and the neck is made out of Venge, which you can see on the back there. And on the top of the headstock, we have Abasi locking tuners. Other than that, we have the truss rod access at the bottom of the neck, which is always preferable. And we are looking at a thin U shape for the neck profile. This is not the kind of like offset teardrop style neck that the Master series has. So that pretty much does it for the specs and features of this instrument. Again, there are a bunch of different finish options available right now, so be sure to go check out their website, linked in the description and pinned comment below. Next up, what I'm going to do is show you a few solo tone clips. Now, with that being said, you're not going to be hearing clean tones on this channel. There are plenty of other channels who use this with all the thumping and animals as leaders, beautiful styles that they do. I just personally don't play that way. So I'm going to be showing you the heavy high gain rhythm tone and the lead tones that I was using during that Carcosa song in the demo clip that you already heard in the intro. Sounds like this. Okay, so last but not least is to give my thoughts and opinions on this instrument. Now, Abasi Concepts approached me and offered this guitar, and I was very surprised that they wanted me to do this video. I feel like Abasi Concepts has this kind of like pedigree that it's for very shreddy players who do a particular style of music that's more geared towards clean tones and ambient tones and stuff like that. And I'm very happy to say that I was wrong, and I have been loving playing this guitar so far. I was especially curious to hear how it would sound for heavy high gain rhythm tones in the context of what I play, which is more deathcore style. I was very curious about the spacing of the pickup to the bridge. I was wondering if it might be a little bit too far, producing that kind of nasally tone that I sometimes don't like. But with this one in particular, I thought it actually sounded really, really good. It does have a little bit more of that kind of nasally sound, but for some reason on this guitar in particular, I found that I actually really, really liked that sound. There's an absolute ridiculous amount of clarity in the strings, even when playing super low tuned brutal stuff like I was doing. And yeah, it just kind of has that very, like, I hate to say it, but that very like genty tone to it, which just sounded so cool and was so much fun to play. I actually found that I preferred voice 2 for the rhythm tone for my purposes personally, but hey, it's nice to have that option there. Everything else about this guitar feels awesome. The neck feels fantastic. 25.5 to 27.5 is always a very, very good option for multi-scale. It feels really nice on the high string and the low string and everywhere in between. Always a fan of that, pun intended. Sorry, I had to. The locking tuners seem to work just as you would expect. I mean, nothing crazy to report there. I do really like the headstock shape. It's interesting to me that it says Legion instead of Abasi Concepts, but I actually kind of like it. And normally I prefer the matching headstock to the body, but for some reason in this case, again, I just think it works. So it's an interesting guitar because on paper there are some features and specs of this that I normally would not pick for myself because of the type of player I am. I would normally think like, I don't know if this is going to be for me or not, and I am extremely happy that I was dead wrong about this guitar, and I have been loving playing it. I really don't have any negative talking points about this guitar at all this time around. I think it is fantastically built. The construction quality is really good. Yes, the price is a little high for sure for a imported South Korean guitar, but I mean, it's really not that crazy compared to what a lot of other brands are offering at their top end. And with this one, you are getting stainless steel frets. You're getting these not only name brand pickups, but signature pickups. You're getting a ton of features with all of those coil split options, voicing options, all that stuff. And yeah, the fretwork feels immaculate. The finish looks absolutely beautiful. I know it's only like a solid color finish, but for some reason, this color is just doing it for me, man. So yeah, again, I can't really say enough good things about this guitar, and for the price of it, I am very glad that I am saying that, because I think if I had any negative talking points on a guitar of this price range, it would be a problem. Another thing I almost forgot to mention is actually the ergonomics of this guitar. There's a giant cutaway here, which you don't really see on that many other guitars, which makes sitting how I sit playing classical style super comfortable. Obviously, normally a guitar is rounded here, and you're kind of always like fighting, sliding it off your thigh or something like that, or digging into there. Whereas this guitar was specifically designed so you could play it sitting this way, or if you sit the rock and roll way, you can play it that way, no problem. Like the cutaways just match your body perfectly, along with that belly carve in the back. It just feels really, really good to play. And the last thing I wanted to mention before I get out of here is also a little bit on how these guitars are released, because they're not available all the time. They kind of do these as runs. So normally they would release, you know, for example, like an ME6, 7, and 8 string all in the same finish all at once. And once that finish is gone, it's kind of just out of stock until they make a new one. So if you're interested in grabbing one of these guitars, I'd strongly suggest following them on social media or signing up for the newsletter or something like that, because again, they are pretty limited releases that don't happen all the time. And again, they are in stock at the moment, which is why they wanted me to make this video. So go check out their website right now. But yeah, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. A big thank you to Abasi Concepts for providing this guitar, and a big thank you to DistroKid for sponsoring this video. The links to everything I talked about is in the description and the pinned comment of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I look forward to reading your comments, and I'll see you soon.